so I can't get on the internet to do a live. But anyway, I'm still pretty sick trying to get over this illness here. Um, so I sound like Mickey Mouse because I have really severe congestion, my sinuses. But anyway, so I just got off work and this fast food thing, man, I got the job from hell. I want to tell you. Man, I have heard for years how bad fast food is and everything else. And so it's like a real new thing for me. There were no jobs. Uh, we don't open in this tourist area officially until like April 1st for spring break. And just hardly anything was hiring. I was checking daily and stuff. And I locked on to this new job because my other job that I've had for like 3 years, um, as an extra job kind of thing, um, just hasn't been panning out any hours much. And so anyway, and last week I had a call from one of my coworkers from one of the other stores going, "Well, what happened to you? They don't know what happened to you." It's like, what happened to me? Uh, if they like make a schedule, you know. Um, but anyway, so you have to move on. You can't wait around. Uh, I already waited around like a month and a half over that place to get in on one of the saving of one of the stores that was just about destroyed for like 4 years by management, and it's still problematic. But anyway, so I got this job and I've blogged about it before, so I'm in about 14, 15 days at this point working, and kept 2 days off a week in reserve for my other job in the event they can give me hours on those days that I gifted to them for the past month. And anyway, so it's really interesting. I was trying to figure out, this place has a lot of problem keeping employees, much less any at all. I've uh, got shakes there and stuff, from time to time. I'm not real big on fast food. I really don't like it. It's not healthy. Um, and it tends to have a ton of sugar in it to begin with. But I do like their shakes on occasion. And the people that are working there are usually pretty sweet, and I'm always cheerful to them and nice to them and stuff. And I just like run through the drive-through as a customer. Anyway, so uh, really strange place. There's no such thing as breaks or lunches. It is really strange. So he made a schedule like the first week. After that, I've had like no schedule after that. Um, and it's strange. They don't teach you coming in anything. They do have videos that you have to watch on the clock on their little laptop. And let me tell you, that sucker, the speaker does not work on it. So you literally have to like be bent over the table and lift up the laptop to try to hear the speaker underneath with one ear, okay? And still try to look at the screen. And then it'll ask you questions after each little video and stuff. The videos that they did have me go on were long after I had already done some of the jobs, and I just nobody shows you. Um, it's just it's as if you could just walk out in the dining room and go, "Hey, come in here and work for a little bit," just to a stranger. It doesn't work like that. I don't know any job that really works like that. You have to show people what to do. And I told him going in, I don't have any like fast food experience. I mean, I was 12 years old, and I used to hang out at Venice Beach, and there was a Thomas number 5 down there on the end of Washington Boulevard, and in Marina Del Rey, and I used to go there after school with my lunch money or whatever, and go by the great, giant, fantastic Thomas number 5 chili burger that was just incredible. And the foreign guy that was there, who may have been the owner back then, he seemed to be about maybe in his mid-20s, something like that, and he didn't speak a lot of English. And when I would come up there, he'd say, "Hey, you want to work for a little bit?" And I'm like, "Okay." And so I would go in there, and he showed me how to cook a little burger and put it together and everything, and that kind of stuff. And he already had the fries made and all that. And I made drinks or shakes, whatever, and took people's orders. It was a slow place. It wasn't anything major. A little tiny little burger shack. And I would ring the stuff up and give people change, and then he would be back in 30 minutes or an hour. Maybe he was going to the bank or whatever, or who knows. And then he would offer me free food. And then anytime I went down there, I always got free food. Or if I brought a friend of mine with me from school or whatever, or a couple friends, he would feed us all for free. And today that place is very famous. They've opened up one out by Santa Monica Pier back home, and it's still around. I don't know, same owner or whatever, and I don't know if that guy was actually the owner back then. But that's about all the experience I've really ever had. I did work for Pat Robertson at Sonic, one of his Sonic enterprises, um, as a joke kind of thing, because he wanted me to do some advertising design for some billboards and some advertising design for the church that he worked at, and kind of headed, you know, a very religious man. He just passed away not long ago here. Very dear friend of mine for many, many years. And we were sitting in his office back behind the Sonic, driving a big trailer back there. And when you go in his office, it was just like all that whole trailer was nothing but business. People used to say bad things about Pat. I don't know if any of the stuff was true or what, or they were just talking poop. Pat was just the nicest guy, and he was very complimentary. Um, he wasn't too racy or anything like that with you. Um, he was a really, really smart businessman, and always had great advice. And, from time to time, I go visit him sometimes or whatever, but we were sitting there talking. He wanted me to do some work for him. And I have a lot of college education, and I did a lot of advertising design classes and photography and things. And so, I could do stuff like that. I could make menus, and I could do billboards. I could do all kinds of things. So, if it was artwork and stuff, I was really good at all that. Business cards, I used to do a lot of that too. And so we talked, and he's like, "Well, so what kind of money are we talking, or whatever?" And I said, "Well, I feel like I would like to see your operation." And he said, "Oh, come on," and he laughed. And I said, "No, really." I said, I think, if you want me to kind of dreamscape an idea, I think I would like to see the behind the scenes type deal in the restaurant, and see your preparation a lot, because he used to talk about how they had the best onion rings, and and when you think fast food, you think it's all just some frozen crap like McGongles, and they just like throw it in a grease fryer, you know what I mean? And stuff goes in microwaves and all this kind of thing. And Pat used to always rant and rave about the food. He was not a fan of chicken in any way. He thought chicken was a very dirty animal. He used to say they pee through their skin, and he said that it's just nasty. And he said beef, 100% beef. And we don't believe in a greasy burger, and he was just really a fanatic. Everything had to be just right. Now his food was very good. I ate a few times there from friends that used to take me over there and go, "Hey, let's go to Sonic." I'm like, "Oh God." But I mean, they had the most outrageous chili dog. To this day, I've never had a chili dog that good, except for at one of Pat's restaurants. Everything was good. Anything you ordered, even those silly little tater tot things, they were just tremendous. Um, but anyway, he kind of laughed. He's like, "You don't want to do that." I said, "Yes, I do." I said, "I would like to spend, you know, um, a few days or a week, maybe, you know, inside the dinner house, and working back house maybe, or and I said, and by the way, I want some Sonic roller skates." He said, "Oh God, we don't do that anymore. The insurance is too high. We quit that years ago." And I said, "Really? That's why you don't have the car hops on skates? I thought maybe they just couldn't skate." He said, "Oh, no, no, we don't do that." He said, "But I can get the skates." And he whipped out a book and laid it out on the desk and showed me a picture of the Sonic skates and all that stuff. And I said, "Yeah, that's what I want. High tops, white, leather, had the little Sonic wheels, with the Sonic on it. And they looked really cool." And I said, "Yeah, I really want those." He goes, "Really?" And I said, "Yes, I do." I said, "I'll pay for it." He said, "No, I'll order you some." I said, "Okay, we'll take it as part of the deal and towards payment." And he laughed. He thought that was hilarious. He ordered them, and I got them. To this day. I still have those all these years later. But anyway, so I worked about a week for him, and uh, he had, I think it was a split crew, about half black, half white. And everybody was very polite. Uh, no bull crap. Everybody's worked, and Pat worked too. He wasn't just running around slinging orders and screaming or anything like that. He was a very little tiny guy, short guy, kind of bald, white hair. Back then, dressed very clean, married man. His wife is very from the church. I knew his son. His son was like 14 or 15 back then. His son, Pat Jr. And today, Pat Jr. owns his own Sonic. Not his daddy's, his own. A very nice one, the last time I was through there. And anyway, and he's all grown up now, has a wife and all that stuff. Anyway, I spent about a week, and he showed me how to cook on his grill and how to properly clean his grill and all that. I knew a little bit about cleaning a grill because I had a couple restaurants in my time. And anyway, I learned how to make his like 3 to 4 step onion rings. They're made from scratch. No lie. They are made from scratch. Hand dipped several times before they're even cooked. I learned about the quality of the burger meat that he uses, exactly how they, like them cooked, the fries. Years ago, McDonald's had, when I was a little bitty girl, my mother was going to go work at a McDonald's, and we were in the back house with her in her interview, talking to the guy, everything. And he showed us this box of frozen little balls in there. And that was French fries. They would throw these balls into the fryer and they would unravel and turn into fries. And I remember that when I was a kid, and I was like, that stuff's not even real potatoes. Uh, back when they used to claim that McDonald's burgers were made out of horse meat. I don't know if that's true or not. They talked about it for years. But so I was never a big fan of fast food, especially McDonald's. The only thing I would really ever eat at McDonald's is like their shakes. They were very good years ago. Their malts shakes, whatever it was back then. And then I was a pretty good fan of the Egg McMuffin on occasion. Today they're grossly expensive. I think that's about a $10 meal, and it comes with coffee. I don't even drink coffee. And a really bad hash brown. The last time I had one like that, but yeah, it's a grotesque waste of money. But anyway, so that's about all I know. I learned, about how he prepared his shakes. Worked right with him. He would work the speaker and take orders, and he was really professional and very much a character. He was just like something out of a commercial on TV. He was just so proper, so perfect. He had a little timer, and he would time from when he took the order. When the customer pulled up, he'd set that timer, and then he would take the order, and then he set the timer as soon as he took that customer's order, and that they would start cooking. Boom, 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 boom. And I don't even know that he had any computerization back then at all. I think they just called the orders out. Um, and he would like set it up on the cash register, boom, boom, right there, and then they'd run the ticket out, with the food and that kind of thing. Um, so I think he was much beyond all the automation way before that. And so it was impressive. He was a stickler by the second to make sure that food was going to be ready for that car in time, and it was just amazing. It was really amazing, and I had a blast. Um, he even offered to pay me, and I told him it wasn't necessary. I just wanted to see the operation. So I had a blast with it. I knew I was going to make good money on the advertising design deal, and especially, the deal, the skates towards the deal too. So I was way cool about the whole thing. I just wanted to get more of an idea of where it was coming from and how it was so different than what he claimed the other fast food places were. Very impressive. Very impressive. I mean, it was about short of fine dining. Okay. Very, very impressive. Quality just utmost. Um, and I don't know if that's a typical of all Sonics or just the ones that he had. Um, I imagine it's all Sonics. Uh, don't know. So anyway, and I've never, you know, worked a Sonic since. But anyway, so that's all I know. And I was real dirt honest when I went to take this job. I talked to the gentleman that manages it, which I assumed he was the owner. Um, and because he's a very strong personality and is foreign. So I imagine that he was most probably the owner because he was very gung ho every time I see this guy at this fast food place. And I had talked to him like a month before and said, you guys hiring? And he said, oh, yeah. And he offered me a better wage than what I'm getting now, which was really strange because he went, well, is it for you? And I went, yeah. And he'd offered me a much better wage. But that's not how it came out. But anyway, and I took the job because I needed the money. I needed the hours. couldn't play with my other job, playing back and forth here and there, and defaulting on their promises because I have bills to pay. So anyway, um, the first week he made kind of a schedule. Then the second week he was talking about doing something different and gave me an option to just kind of like, come in like kind of whenever in the day. If I felt like coming in the morning, I just come in, and he just let me clock in because he's so short, people, all the time. All the time. Sometimes you walk in there, he's the only one in there. Sometimes you walk in there and it's him and one other person. Sometimes you walk in there, it's him and two other people. And I mean, they're just pulling their hair out trying to get these orders out because it'll suddenly get really busy. Um, and then, of course, we've got all that DoorDash stuff and all that other delivery stuff. And these drivers are so evil. Man, if I was manager or owner, I would be like on the phone constantly having a bunch of suckers fired. These people are so rude and don't know how to act. It is beyond belief. And I've seen a few of them in my time, especially when we started DoorDash up in this area. And, but not many. Today, I'm telling you that they're all so horrible, from Grubhub to DoorDash to this Uber Eats thing and all that. These people have no manners, no couth. They're absolutely horrible. No hot bags, no cold bags. And if they dare to bring a hot bag in, it looks like it has been sitting in the middle of a dirty parking lot in a puddle. Just absolutely nasty. You can't carry food in that. That is foul. But anyway, so I've kind of wondered what the deal was. The place is really dirty. I mean, really dirty. It there's like black mold growing halfway up the inside door of one of the coolers. And I've been steadily cleaning more and more of it every day because I I'm used to working fine dining, and there's some stuff back house that you just already know how to do. You know that you've got to keep sweeping. You know you've got to mop floors because, especially with this, with grease, they get grease all over the place. And even with restaurant shoes, it's really dangerous. Somebody can break their neck. And so when it gets slow or whatever, I'll go and I'll sweep around. And it gets slow again, I'll go and I'll fill up the mop bucket and I'll start mopping to save me and my coworkers, and keep it nice and clean and stuff. So the place is really bad. The walls are bad. I've been, wiping walls down here and there, and he has video all over. He has this video on his phone of the restaurant that he showed me. And he's like, I see everything. And I'm like, really? And he had the most impressive video. I've seen video in strip clubs that was outrageous. But this, he has like probably 27 video cameras. And he can actually click on, it's all on his phone in one panel. And I said, well, can you click on one and zoom in? He goes, watch this. Clicks on one, opens it right up. He could zoom right in to where like he could see the hairs on your head. It is an amazing system. No, he's not the owner of this place, but he is the manager. He has very strong personality. But once you get over that doorstep, he is a tyrant. That's putting it mildly. I have never in my life seen anything or heard anything like this. He is absolutely. You ever seen that comedian with that doll that says, I kill you and all that? Uh, this guy is like that little doll. He yells all the time. He throws fits. And if he has to do more than one thing at once, he gets totally flustered. And he is screaming at everybody and everything. He screams like all the time. And he calls people stupid, asshole. Um, it's just beyond belief. And everybody gets so quiet. I mean, it's just like and there's a lot of young people that work there. And I don't know how they take it. Some of them have been there for a little bit, I know, because I'd seen them from them waiting on me on occasion coming through, get a shake from the drive-through. But he is really, I mean, pungent like garlic. Very, it's very strange. Um, there's a couple people that are pretty obnoxious there, but I guess that's just their thing or what they turned into from working that place, maybe. I just kind of stay to myself, keep moving around, doing stuff, if you got time to lean, you got time to clean, and try to watch what people are doing, ask questions. Um, but still, I just, it's not like anybody's really ever showed me anything from him to the rest of the employees. I've had a young employee say to me in one night 3 times, "Toodles, see you later. Why don't you leave?" Yeah, really weird, okay? Um, it's just strange. It is just strange. Now, some of us have gotten real close in the time that I've worked there. I guess they want to just feel you out, whatever. And I try to always, if I say anything at all, which I usually don't talk too much, except for, oh, thank you or please, you know, um, because it's better not to. I just try to do my job the best of my ability, try to learn, try to watch. There's a lot of crazy crap going on, a lot of food flying out of there. Uh, it, I mean, I asked for a 5-minute break, and it's like lately, the last 3 shifts I've worked with this guy, he doesn't even want to give it to me at all after being there all day. And then, whatever night shift managers come in, I asked them, and they always let me take a 5-minute break, 1 or 2 of them anyway, because I don't get any. No breaks, no lunches. Now, you could clock out for lunch for 30 minutes, maybe, if he would let you. But we're so short, it's like there's no time. And for me, I'd rather just take the pay, forget it, you know. And we get half off on our food. Well, I do. I pay for mine. I work with a girl that gets like $17 worth of food every day, orders all this stuff, and she'll go out there and hang out in the lobby for 30 minutes or an hour and munch out. She gets it free because the manager runs a card through there and clears it. Doesn't charge it to her check or anything. I'm talking about it's zero because it's coming over my cash register when they have me work the register. Um, uh, it's strange. But anyway, so a lot of problematic things have happened in 15 days. I mean, every day you just want to just clock out and not come back. One of my let's see, yesterday he had me count a pan for the register. Now, I've done register several times. I always run on whoever else's pen, whatever. I never had to count anything or do any of that. And legally, if you're going to be liable for shortage or overage, you're supposed to count that pen in and count that pen out. Because by law, they can't take it out of your check and claim it unless you were able to count your pen in and count your pen out. So I haven't worried about it too much. But then yesterday he wanted me to count my pen. And I had to count it like, I don't know, 12 times. He kept telling me to recount it, recount it, recount it, recount it. He wouldn't tell me what the starting bank was, which is really odd. Why on earth? You know? But no. He refused to tell me what the starting bank is that they use as a standard. In any business, whether it's behind the bar, at a grocery store, whatever, you know, they usually tell you what the starting bank should be, and you have a slip with it, and then you check it all, and if it's incorrect, you go to your manager. They'll recheck it to make sure in the event you made a mistake, or it is actually wrong, and then they have to make adjustments, in the books because it was short or under before you even started or whatever. Or simply you just couldn't count good that day. But generally, it's very simple. Usually, you're talking, $125 to $150 bank um, in a pen. Um, that's not a grocery store, okay? For like bars and food service, things like this, or, small time stores or whatever. They don't like to keep a lot of money on the front end because of theft. Um, and they'll pull the pans down through the shift. We used to do that when I managed a grocery store. We had so much money come through, you had to pull them down constantly. You had to watch on the computer, and you had to pull them down constantly to keep everything really low, and in the event of theft, so that most of that stuff was in the safe. And so, anyway, they gave you this pen that has got like a couple tens, like $40 and fives, like 37 ones. Really strange numbers, okay? And then they might give you some rolled stuff. It might be a couple rolls, might be 4 or 5 rolls of stuff. And then they've got goofball change, okay? Like, several dollars a quarters loose. And then, like yesterday, there must have been $10 dimes loose. And then, they got the nickels, the pennies. It was ridiculous. Usually, when you hand somebody a pen, it's going to be so many bills, and then it'll be so many rolls. The old days of change is just phased out. It's just something that is really not done anymore. Back in the old bar days, we could look at that pen, and without even counting those coins, we could tell basically how much was in that drawer, so that we could get it counted quick and switch shifts, and be able to keep waiting on customers so they didn't have to wait for us to change over. We were really fast, and after you worked so many years behind the bar, you could just pretty well look at that pen, and you knew what was there after you counted the bills, because we don't do nickels and dimes and pennies. We do mostly quarters because of jukeboxes. But anyway, they have the most screwball system at this place. It is beyond me why they have so much loose stuff. It makes 0 sense. It just takes up so much time. It is a total waste. And it just shows me total, disorganization for one. I don't say anything. Today they did the same thing. Jacked up pen. A whole bunch of goofball change. And I asked the girl from the morning shot. She comes in like 6 in the morning. And I asked her, I said, why do they have all that loose change like that, dollars and dollars of it, and then still gave you some rolls for a $150 pen? And she said, that's just the way they do that. I said, that's odd. And she says, it's just the way they do that. I said, okay. And so, yeah. Messy. But anyway, so yesterday, The two very nice miniatures that come in some evenings, uh, they're real sweet. And uh, I was ready to walk out yesterday. It was so bad. This guy was screaming bloody murder all through the shift, calling people stupid, asshole, and just throwing fits. And, if you ask him something, he can't give you a straight answer, you know. And so it's a big dissertation, and he screams throughout the whole, restaurant with all the employees there, and just, I guess, just likes to embarrass the crap out of everybody. And I'm not just talking about just me. I'm talking about anybody. And we all just get real quiet. He is so unreal. Okay. Um. So, you know, on occasion I'll ask him. I can't find a case of ketchup, or I can't find the proper bags, the proper size bags. And he's like, well, then go look in the back. Go look in the shelves, you know. And I said, well, I didn't find any, sir. And then he'll come prancing back there, and he'll say, so start looking, and wave his arms around and stuff. And I said, well, could you show me, please? Because I don't see any. And then when it finally comes down to it, to where, we don't have it, then he's really mad. And he throws a big old tantrum. And it's like, man, this guy is just really out there, I mean, he just wants to treat you like you're freaking stupid and lunatic. And it's everybody. From kids to adults. Some of the stuff he talks. From gay to races and things. And joking around about stuff like that. Today, in this day and age, these companies are so strict about, like, you can't even say, well, she was black. When they say, who was it? I don't know her name, but she's black. You can't even say that. Much less if they were Jamaican or Persian or Oriental or Filipino. You can't say all that now. It's really strange, some of these big corporates. And it's like, so what do you want me to say? They're kind of like short and portly, or they're 7 foot tall and thin, and they don't like that either. And it's like, why? Well, because it's discriminatory talk. Well, I mean, if everybody had name tags, we'd know who everybody was. Especially in companies I've worked with where they require name tags. Uh, but nobody wears them. Not my fault. You know what I mean? You asked me a question, I told you to the best of my ability. And I mean, it's crazy. But anyway, this guy's really out there. Anyway, yesterday, I worked day shift and the night shift. Okay, and I'm going to tell you, I worked from 1:59 p.m. in the day till 12:40 a.m. Yes, almost 1 in the morning yesterday. Total of 10.41 hours. And I will tell you, I was beat. And that was last night. And, my little clock out slip said I had 19 and 30 hours for the week so far, because they had just switched the week out. So I got the day before's hours, and then yesterday's hours, which was a total of almost 20 hours in 2 days. So when I came in today, the boss guy said, well, a lot of stupid people didn't clock out last night. No, I didn't know if he was talking about me or what, because he talks like this all the time, out loud, very loud around people, and you don't know if he's talking about you, talking about the girl next to you, or somebody that went out the back door, or what. And you just kind of do your job and don't say anything, because it's not even worth messing with him. Even when he asks you direct questions, he's just horrible. So, I worked for some Persians in California that were pretty interesting, but this guy is amazing. So anyway, he said, and by the way, as he was walking away, he said, what time did you leave last night? I said, oh, about 1, which I drove off the property about 1 o'clock. I was beat and soaking wet, because I had been washing stuff. They had to close, and there were short people, and they had to send this evil new person home. It was just so ghetto, the whole shift, and picking fights with people. It was just monotonous. And they finally had the ability to send her home. She was brand new hire, first day. And anyway, I knew they were going to be really stuck, because the minor kids were going to have to leave. And so those two managers going to get stuck by themselves, do closing. And they say, that it takes a long time. Like they've been out of there at 4 in the morning before. And I was like, really? Jeez. And so anyway, they asked if I could stay a little bit. And I said, yeah, I'll stay a little bit, because I don't have to listen to his screaming, because he's left. And they said, boy, if you could, it would be great. I said, well, I need the money anyway. And so I stayed, and then they came to me 2 or 3 times, and I was banging away, helping do dishes and washing stuff up and taking trash out, trying to help them so it wouldn't be so bad, because I knew it was just going to be those two in the end. Because the kids can only work till so late, because they have to be in school and they have laws and all this stuff. And we just had a couple kids that were working last night. And so, anyway, and this couple, they're so nice. They're just really charming. And anyway, he came up to me at one point, and I was just banging away. He's like, are you sure you're okay? Because you've been here since day shift. I said, I'm fine. I'll help you out a little bit more. And he said, look, I'll buy your dinner. Because in this place, you can't have nothing free. You got to pay half price, whatever. And I was like, well, I appreciate that, because I would just have something simple. I really don't like to eat at night, because boondocking in the car and stuff. So anyway, I was banging away, and just trying to get so much stuff done to help them. And everything that I could think to do to try to make it easier for them, because they were going to be by themselves and still have to run the business with the doors open. See, this is the problem. They still have to run the business. So anyway, I was just beat. And I said, okay, I'm done. I can't do it. They'd even asked me if I would stay till closing, and I said, well, I don't know where all that, but the time just flew, because I was going really fast, trying to get as much done to help them. Cleaning dining room and stuff, and just everything I could think of, taking trash out, everything to make it easy for them. And so, because I'm pretty fast. And so, the things I know how to do. But anyway, so they were really appreciative. They came back, several times and said, you okay? You're welcome to leave if you want to. And I'm like, no, I'll do a little bit more. And, it's just money. So I ended up being there till, 1:45, I guess. It says here. So, yep, 12:40 a.m. last night. And so anyway, this printout slip said I had 19 hours, 30 minutes. Okay, so when I clocked out last night, so when I came in today, I was telling you how the guy gave me a bunch of crap and was saying that everybody was stupid. He had a bunch of people that didn't clock out last night. And I was like, wow, I can't imagine, I'm sitting there thinking, who doesn't know how to clock out? There was hardly any of us working, but you just don't want to say a lot because this guy is so spastic. So, like he said to me, and what time did you leave? I said, oh, about 1 o'clock. You left at 1. Yeah, sure, right. You told me you didn't want to work past 9 or 9:30, 9 o'clock. I said, yeah, that's my preference. And see, the reason for that is because I want to go ship. If I have eBay orders, I want to be able to ship and before the storage place closes and get it down to the post office if a customer has ordered from me. I don't want them to wait. If I'm available to ship it 1 hour after they order, I'm going to do it. Otherwise, if I'm at work, if I have an open option, I need to be off in time enough to go get the item, package it up, print a slip, and take it to the post office for my customers. So that's why I told him I didn't want to work past 9. And in fact, I'm boondocking, which I didn't tell him that. And I'm not staying up all night because I have to sleep. I'm not sleeping in the car in the daytime. So anyway, he said, well, I took the hours off from your clock out. I said, why? I removed them because you said that you don't like to work after 9 o'clock. And I said, so you're taking my pay because I was here after 9 o'clock, which I've been after 9 o'clock before. Several times that I've worked late. This was under the management approval. They needed help. And he's like, why did you stay so late? I said, because they needed help. They had to send somebody home, and they had a couple other kids working, and they have to go home. They can't stay after a certain time. I think it's like 9 or 10 at night. I said, because they're supposed to be at school. It's the law. And I said, so they were going to be by themselves, those two managers. And they're very nice to me. And, I was trying to do as much as I could for them. I sure didn't plan on hanging out that late. Even when they asked me if I would consider staying sometime, maybe once a week with them till like 1, and I was like, no. But anyway, so he said, oh, you got proof? And I said, yeah. I said, I will step out to my car and get my logbook. I got my logbook, I got my clock and slips, and I brought the slip in and showed him. And he looked at it all pissed off. He said, I guess I'll have to change it then. I said, that is correct. Because I do have to get paid. I clocked in and I clock out. I should be able to get payroll. He said, well, the next time, then you can send me a text message if you're staying after 9. So I know. So, yes, sir. Then he came back out of the office. He said, well, I fixed it for you. Well, guess what? When I clocked out tonight, I'm still waiting on a whole day's pay that they didn't have for me because the first 3 days, they wouldn't have me clock in because they said they'd sign me in and out, and I still write my hours down. Don't trust anybody. All these businesses, if they could take 1 minute off you every day of the week or 5 minutes off your shift or whatever they can do to cheat you, they're going to do it. That's what all these big corporates are about. So you have to watch your pay. And so I have, a logbook. A logbook. I taught my kids to do the same thing. A logbook. And then I've got these little slip things. But you get out of the cash register when you clock in and clock out. So tonight, I worked 2:01 p.m. because that's when I felt like going, because I wanted to try not to be most of the day shift because of him. And then the managers last night told me, I said, how about if I just worked, kind of short night shifts and then never have to work around him? They said, oh, he'll fire you then. I thought, just because nobody likes to work with him? Ugh. So anyway, I went in today about as late as I could go. 2:01 p.m. I clocked in. My clock out was 9:37 tonight. And I didn't want to be here that late because I was tired from yesterday. Very tired. In fact, I'm very sick. And it's really hard on me. So I got 7 hours, 36 minutes on this shift. Guess what my hours for the week is showing? 23 hours and 26 minutes. But yesterday's clock out slip says hours for the week, 1930. So, 1930 plus 7 hours and 36 minutes is what? Because it sure isn't 23 total hours and 26 minutes for the week. See what I'm saying? Do you believe this? This guy is amazing. Not only did I miss a whole day's worth of pay that I still haven't got from my last paycheck, that he took care of the other day. He said, I would not steal any money from you, never. I don't want your pay. I will take care of it right now, and I'll enter it and send an email to corporate, and they will fix it immediately. And then when I talked to the other 2 managers, I said, how long does it take my pay to come? Are they going to hold it to my next paycheck? Because this is money due me. And she had said, oh, it'll probably be Tuesday. Well, so far I haven't got that money. And I mentioned it to him, and he said, oh, they'll have it for you. You'll get it. It's and make sure to let me know when you do get it. Well, I still haven't got it all these days later. And I mentioned today, I said, they still haven't paid me. He said, oh, it'll be Tuesday. Tuesday? Let me tell you the interest I have to pay on storages for being late. Yeah. Anyway, it's 20%. Anyway, so I guess this is going to be all screwed up paycheck again, because my hours are not reading right already after he went ahead and deducted a bunch of hours off last night's shift today without speaking to me first. And he has videos and everything else. He can see on the videos what time I left. He can see everything. So he just assumed. He decided to shave my hours all on his own, and then be nasty when I came to work. And then when I went out to the car to get my logbook and my clock-in slips and showed him, then he changed his tune a hair and said, oh, I'll fix it. I'll put it back on then. Okay. Really? I wonder how many people he just does that to. Because I'm telling you, you're not just going to be continually shaving my hours. I have this other job that really wanted me, and I'm waiting to see what exactly they're going to do. They offered me some short shifts during the week, and then when spring break opens up, around April, to even get some more hours. And I told them I was very interested, and it pays better too. But I see them almost every day, and I don't know, the guy's kind of lax. Then it's a much better place to probably work. So I don't know, but But that's what we got going on here. This is not cool. And why those managers didn't show up tonight, and this guy had to work back to back today. Yeah. Oh, here's the better part. He decided, he came up to me tonight. He was like, so you're leaving at 9 tonight? And I said, yeah. I said, I'm really tired. And he looked at me like total hatred. Because I knew he was sabotaged. Because those managers weren't coming in. I knew. Because he was just bitter. And he was on the phone texting and trying to call and going back and forth and all that. And he let that mean girl come back today. Oh, my. The one that was thrown out last night. And so anyway, he says, well, before you go, I want you to do all the bathrooms, all the trash in the front end, and I want you to clean all the tables and the floors like you did yesterday, and mop. No, I didn't mop nothing in the front end yesterday. And make sure and mop. And you have to do all that before you leave then. And I was working cash register and the fryer thing too, and packing orders, amongst other things. And I got most of the dishes done so that he wouldn't have a whole lot, even though he's mean. But I was like, God, before I leave, it was 8 o'clock. And I said, well, I walked right out from behind the counter. I said, I'm not doing any more checking or packing food, nothing. He's only got a couple people working. So I guess he and those people need to do that. So I just started getting stuff together, started cleaning, gathering up trash, doing all that, because I had no clue how I was going to be able to get out of there on time. Because, I sure didn't want to stay after 9 o'clock tonight. I was just exhausted. So, and my feet hurt and everything else. So, anyway, I'm like, I'll never get out of this building. And, it's a lot on me. Okay? It's a lot on me. I worked a ton of hours yesterday, really hard. And I was tired today, and I'm still sick. And, so I haven't eaten all day. I've had one 5-minute break all day, and he refused to give it to me like he normally does. Sir, could I have a 5-minute break? Usually I could get, to drink some water or something, I go out of the building to my car, and so he was like, no, you can't have it right now. It'll be later. He's just, yesterday was really bad. He wouldn't let me have any break. And I couldn't get a break till the other managers came in for night shift. But anyway, so I was already unhappy. So he waited about another hour and a half. And he said, okay, you can go now. And I didn't know if he meant like go or take my 5 minute. I just didn't say nothing. I just went out the back door, set my timer, and went to my car so I could drink some bottled water that was in my car. He's real strict about food. You can't have anything unless you buy it. And so he doesn't want to catch you eating at work and everything else, even though the rest of the place is all the way live. You would be surprised. But I'm not going to get caught on video anyway. He screams all the time. I don't need to hear any more screaming than we already get. So anyway, I went out for 5 minutes, come back in. I've had no lunch, nothing. I've had one 5-minute break the entire day. Anyway, so all of a sudden, this mean girl that was sent home last night, he goes up to the cash register and he's real loud and he says, so, first of all, he says, if you want to take, a 10-minute break, you go ahead. And she's like, oh, okay, yeah. And it's like, God, most of the time he won't even give me a break. And if I ask for 5, he's mad as hell, to give it to me. Accused me one day of being 15 minutes. I said, no, sir, I set my timer. And so anyway, I couldn't believe he told this girl, yelled out, you could take a 10-minute break if you want to. And I was like, Then he yells out, do you want something to eat? And she's like, well, yes. And he says, here. He goes over to the register. What do you want? And he's like punching the numbers in. And then he doesn't even charge her. That's right. He doesn't even charge her. I was like, what the heck? And when she came in for her interview, she was there 4 or 5 hours. And he bought all her food that day. And I was blown away. He didn't do that for me. And he had me up there in an interview for 2.5 hours. But anyway, so I was like, not only is he going to let her have 10 minutes, she's also going to buy her dinner. And so anyway, I'm finishing up most of my cleaning and stuff. I was pretty pissed. And then I hear him say, oh, well, Red is been cleaning the dining room and everything. I mean, I've got this thing mopped down, the seats, the tables, everything, the floor, everything. And so I assumed that they weren't going to attempt to come out to that dining room and eat. Right? No. Here she comes with a bunch of food. And it says, oh, well, where's the best place that I could sit? I said, I've just got done stripping down the entire dining room and cleaning the seats and the tables. Well, blah, 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 blah. I said, whatever you'd like to do. I said, I've had 1 5-minute break all day and I haven't even eaten, but just whatever you'd like to do. And I smiled and I started taking stuff, into the kitchen, all that. My coworkers, one of the kids came up to me and said, oh, will you go get those decanters and all that stuff out of the front dining room, tea and stuff. And I was on my way out. I was trying to clock out because it was like 9:34 when I looked at my clock and I'm like, I have to go. I am done. And I couldn't even get to clock out. It would not work when I went to clock out on the register. And so I went back to the office and I said to him, he was in the office and he had this tray of food on a chair. And I said, excuse me, sir, sorry to bother you. I said, I can't, I'm having trouble trying to clock out. And so then I walked away, and next thing you know, you hear this boom, 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 kaboom. Like he was throwing stuff all over the office. And then he comes barreling out of the office, and he takes about 10 steps right up in front of me and yells in my face, now go get a broom and dustpan and clean the office floor, yelling at me. So, yes, sir. He is flaming through the restaurant back house. So I grab my phone because I have a feeling I know what this is. And I walk over to the office and I got my phone ready. And do you know, I grab a picture. And he has thrown his food all over the floor. of that office. Pissed off. Yep. I was like, no. So, got the picture, and I went and got the broom and dustpan, and went to move the chairs around and stuff and sweep all the floor up of all his food. And did that, and then went up to the register to try to clock out. Still couldn't clock out. Then he finally appears and has to key in a bunch of manager numbers and all this stuff to try to get it through. And then he yanks up the pan out of the register. All this tape starts piling out. There's 3 different tapes, and I look at it and I don't see my clock out slip. And I said, sir, my clock out slip didn't come out of this. He comes back, grabs all those papers out of my hand. Do it again. I go to clock out again on the register. Finally, it clocks out and prints out my slip. I take it, walk towards the back door, pick up some empty boxes on my way out, shut the door, take the boxes to the trash, get in the car, and I leave. And then I after I drive off the property, I go to stop and look at my slip to see if my hours are accurate, and they're not. Yep. So, man, I'm going to tell you, this is just, I mean, it is so nerve-wracking. And now I know why, he has so much trouble keeping people. And I don't know if this is an independent-owned restaurant or a franchise of this company, but my God, it is just beyond belief. I had a couple of managers come to me the first week asking me if I knew what the laws were for minors working. I said, I know quite a bit. In Florida, it's a little different. They're really particular, and more than I've ever seen in any other state. And I said, we went through that, with my youngest daughter here. There was a lot of restrictions, from being around ovens to using knives, pouring coffee, the hours, the breaks, how many hours, and how late you could work, on certain weekends and everything. My daughter already had graduated high school, and already started going to university. So she was outgrown that. But even though, because of her age, she was still kept in that restriction of Florida, even though she's a graduate. So they have different age ranges, like from 14 to 15, and then like 15 to 16, and then 16 to 18. They have all these different ranges in Florida of regulations for minors at work. So it's real ticky. And so I was asked about that the first week by the managers, and I said, you really need to see what the law is for 2024, because it may have changed, but I do know this, and this. And then a few different places my daughter had worked, they were all different restrictions, because some of them didn't pay attention, and some of them didn't know. And I went and researched it on the internet myself just to see. So, and then I found how different states were much different than each other. But anyway, so that's kind of, what the deal is. And it's very strange. But, I thought it would be tolerable, this job, but man, I just cannot believe this guy's shaving my hours, without even talking to me first. You know, this is the kind of job where everybody's in and out, and they'll keep you as long as they can keep you if they can. They can always use workers. They're always short. So it's not like, you know, working for a big box store or something to where, you know, you can't clock in 30 seconds early and can't clock out 30 seconds late or any of that. It's not like that at all. They're so short at this place. I mean, like, you walk in one day and it's just you and the boss. You walk in the next day, it's you and two other people. You know, you walk in another day and it's you and four other people. Um, you just don't ever know. Uh, but I guess I know why they have problems keeping people there. Um, I, you know, I went through there a couple times to get a burger, you know, before I worked there, and I used to joke with people and say, I swear they cooked a damn burger on a candle. Literally, because it would take 25 minutes, whether I was the only one in line in the drive through or I was behind two other cars. It took forever just to get, you know, like a little kid's meal, you know, a little burger and a drink thing, you know. It was just like, and the burger's tiny, you know. uh, and I swear they cooked it over a candle. And it's because, you know, there probably was only one person working, period. You know what I mean? Yeah. But anyway, so I just thought I'd give you guys an update. Pretty extreme, huh? Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Show the love. And hope I get better soon. I'm so tired of being sick for days. And uh I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you.